I was very resilient and I didn't give up. One thing you have to understand, and I tell people this a lot in politics, you're always gonna get no. You cannot think that 100% of people like you. If you believe deep down in your heart you could do whatever the job might be.
What does a parade mean for our city and to keep that going for the next generation?
We are one of the only city in South Florida who does a Thanksgiving Day parade. We've done it over the past 50 years, so it's a tradition.
Which one are you most happy about?
Wow.
What are some of the challenges that you face on a day-to-day?
It's hard. It's easy. There's some sacrifice. You sacrifice your family, your friends.
What was your support system like when you were running for the first time at 22?
Ironically, I had good support, but it was divided. I was hearing a young lady who was saying she went to a pageant like 7 times, and the 8th time, that's when she won, the first step, whatever the cases. So those are the cases that I'm talking about. I just want them to remember me as someone who always stood up for the people, someone who stood up for what's right, and someone who has courage and do what needs to be done.
What steps would you recommend that they take to be in a position like that?
You never want to be like nobody. But I would tell them they have to be focused, they have to be organized, they have to be disciplined. You do need a comprehensive immigration. That's the only thing that will resolve what's happening right now. Full stop.
Mayor Alix Desulme, an alumnus of North Miami Senior High School, shares a powerful story of redemption, faith, and entrepreneurship. From migrating from Haiti to becoming the first Haitian-American city clerk to losing 5 elections before winning, his journey proves that resilience and purpose always find a way. Listen as he connects generations and inspires the future.
Did you at any point growing up believe that you would be where you're at today? Did you envision this?
No.
Welcome to Jules Legacy Enterprise Productions, where story connects generations. A conversation with a pioneer. It's a segment that celebrates the life and journey of North Miami Senior High School pioneers by bridging the past and the present to inspire the future. Behind every name, there is a story. Mayor Alix Desulme, a proud graduate of class of 97 from North Miami Senior High School, migrated from Haiti, made history in 2009, where he was elected as the very first Haitian city clerk, worked his way to the council, served as a councilman, vice mayor, and he's currently the city of North Miami mayor. Mayor, it is with great pleasure to have you here with us in the studio.
Good morning and good afternoon. Greetings. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you all. Just one little correction that when you did the intro, Haitian-American.
Haitian-American.
Yes, if I was Haitian, I would not be
Haitian-American.
Yes, proud Haitian-American and pioneer.
Mayor, if someone just stumbled upon the name, or they just stumble upon Alix Desulme, how would you want them to remember you?
Oh, wow. That's a powerful question about remembering. So we talk about legacy. No, I just want them to remember me as someone who always stood up for the people, someone who stood up for what's right, and someone who has courage and do what needs to be done. I don't ask for much. The work that I do, I think it's reflect in how the community portray my legacy. So I don't too much focus on that, just helping people. That's the passion in me. Helping kids, seniors, et cetera, business owners. It's just helping people. That's it.
Mayor, North Miami culture is actually diverse, right? It's rich and diverse. And in helping many people, how do you ensure that the voices of the people with such rich culture is heard?
Yeah, you're right. Great question. We are one of the most diverse cities in South Florida. I mean, cities tells you, all the time they diverse, but we truly are with several different ethnic backgrounds. Obviously, Haitian-American, we are the largest concentration of Haitian-American residing in a city inside the United States. We have a growing population of Latinos, not necessarily from one area, but from throughout Central America, in South America who are residing in our city. And we have a very, very affluent Jewish population who have always been a fabric of North Miami, and adding on many different other ethnic groups and that we all work together and we celebrate together. I think our diversity is one of our truly strength here in the city of North Miami.
Mayor, we have the chance to witness the centennial as far as the 100-year anniversary of the city. What does it mean for you to be in that position as we celebrate something that is so memorable to the city?
Yeah, I was here when we did the 90th year, et cetera, et cetera. I think right now, anyone who's in leadership or anyone who's serving, first of all, it's called by God. We are in this moment for a particular reason. And God placed us here to do what we need to do. So that's number one. I feel very proud to be the person to serve. Remember, by all definition, I wasn't born in North Miami, but I am a product of North Miami. I started my journey at North Miami Middle.
Of course.
Coming here from New York with my parents. We migrated here in North Miami, and I haven't left ever since.
Wow.
I think I took a 1 or 2 year during college and lived nearby, but always returning. North Miami has always been for the last 30 years.
Of course.
Been home in terms of North Miami. So, I would say, that's part of that.
Mayor, you mentioned as far as community service, right? And a lot of people would refer to it as a calling. When did you know that you had that calling?
Oh, wow. For me, some people will say they have a calling.
Right.
They really don't, because, you could kind of stumble into this and then you win. I've seen folks who ran for many, many times and who didn't make it, like me.
Of course.
And I think I ran 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
And I kept going.
Right.
That was one of the lessons I think God was teaching me. But there's some people who just wake up and say they're gonna do it, they do it. So everybody's journey is different. But with me, the calling has been there since I was a little boy. So my background is an educator. So I'm a school teacher. Of
course.
So going to school, I'm a small business owner as well. Very, very, had a firm here, marketing and public relations. I have a degree in marketing, my undergrad. But all that lead to helping people, giving people a job, doing stuff within the community, working for so many different organizations. So it all lead back to helping.
Right.
Helping individual to do what they do. So I'm just glad to be part of the fabric of this great community.
You were also a part of the 5,000 role model. I believe that you served on the board, or you were running it for a little while. Mm-hmm. How did that come about?
Well, people don't know, but a lot of folks, when I was at North Miami Senior, before my last year, we had an incident that occurred at the high school. And when you talk about where does that fire comes in, I think that's part of leading to that. So I was maybe 16 or 17. And that situation that we had at the high school, the principal that was there was, I went through a process of getting to Tory. Remember we had the HSCT back then, you had to pass it.
Yes.
So it was very instrumental for us, especially kids with, from different countries that needed extra help, especially in the English. They really, really helped me. Tremendous math. I'm weak in math.
Wow.
English has always been my strong point. English and history, but math and science, that's not me. But those folks were there really helping the kids. And the principal at that time decided to let them go. There was 2 tutors that was in the library. So that kind of sparked something. And I started a petition at the school at that time. And after the petition was done, I sent a copy of that petition to the school board.
Okay.
In 96 or something. And Frederica Wilson was on the school board.
Oh, wow.
So she was the only member. I didn't expect nobody to call me. And she called me.
Oh, wow.
Because, we had the home phone. There was no cell phone, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. And my mother, I remember saying, there's a lady on the phone for you. I said, really, for me? You have to go outside. You were playing to see her. And then she said, is this Alex? I said, yeah. She said, I'm your school board member, Frederica Wilson.
Oh, wow.
I said, you are? I mean, and then so that sparks that relationship from the time I was 16 to now I'm 48. So that's how long the Congresswoman and I, we became family. She taught me everything I need to know about politics, her and some other politicians here, including Dr. Dorothy Bendras-Mendigo. So part of that was, after I became a teacher, and she was also a teacher, a school administrator, and I knew about the role models because, just growing in, the school system, it was the 500 role models back then.
Yes.
And when I got to, after I taught for a couple of years, there was a position that came open downtown to actually be downtown to work in the office to kind of help lead the program. And you know, I went, I did that for a couple of years, and then I left and went back to the school system, in the classroom.
Mayor, out of all the accomplishments that you have, which one are you most happy about?
Wow. I think it could be years and years. And you mentioned at the opening, Jules mentioned that early on, 2015 was the first time I got elected, and I became the first Black city clerk and the youngest in the nation at that time. And that was right after the election of President Barack Obama. I think, to answer your question very vaguely, is helping somebody and seeing the expression on their face. And it could be anything. There's a rate, people think that it's only people who need help from, you know, the government who comes in. Listen, you could be rich, you could be whatever. There will still be people who comes to us for different things. So just helping somebody to deal with their problems, to do that on a daily, weekly, whatever basis. That's what really, I think that's one of my biggest accomplishment. I've done more programs and more things in the city of North Miami. I created the social service housing department right before the housing thing that just recently passed. We talked about, you know, the affordability thing that just happened. Right before that, we got with developers.
Yes.
And we were able to help out in terms of, through the North Miami CRA. I started a senior program, which I just took about 85 of them to the Bahamas just last week. And it's now a waiting room of people trying to get into that program. And I've done a LIT program, Leaders in Training, where we mold young people from high school and kind of teach them about civic engagement and public policies. And then at the end of the summer, we enrolled them right into a program called Youth Opportunity Board, where they work for the city. You know, they get minimum wage working for the city. I don't know if it's minimum wage. They probably get a little bit more, but they work for the city for the summer. And I went through that program when I was at North Miami Senior High School.
Oh, nice.
So it's a full, because I started working for the city of North Miami at 16.
Oh, wow.
That was through the program. So technically, I've been working, I have an employee number for over 30 years with the city of North Miami in terms of my service to the city. I started in Parks and Rec as a camp counselor. And then after that summer, Parks and Rec hired me, and I was a park attendant with one of our deputy city manager, Arthur Sori. We was park attendants together at Pepper Park.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, all of the guys in the parks and recreation staff I knew. And I've done some work outside of North Miami with the North Miami Police Department through Philip Michael Thomas's wife, Cassandra Thomas, years ago. And Philip Michael Thomas, as you know, was Miami Vice, and his wife at one point wanted to do something with North Miami, with the police department. And we got together. They kind of got me around, and we did the North Miami 5-0. It was so that my roots in this community is very deep.
Mayor, how you have a silver senior citizen program. How did that come about?
Yeah, that's one of the programs that I mentioned when I first got elected. And I also started the first food pantry.
Yes.
Run by a government in the state of Florida.
Yes.
Both of those programs, the senior program and the pantry program, started right after I won in 2015.
Yes.
The seniors, the residents were telling me they needed something to do. And I kind of heard it when I was running. They were telling me, hey, I'm taking care of the grandkids. I need something to go out and do. And I thought about it. I prayed, and it kind of came. But I got resistant from administration at that time. Like, no, we can't do it. No. Almost every program that I have had who have been very successful, there's always been a fight with an internal. And I had to kind of push back and make sure that, the program come into fruition. And now I can tell you, we have a waiting list of 50 plus people waiting.
Oh, wow.
To get on. We pick them up from their homes twice a week. They get together. It becomes a family. Obviously, over the years, we're going almost into 10 years of this program being in existence in the city. So it has gone through a lot, especially through COVID. We had some folks who lost their lives. Obviously, you're dealing with seniors and stuff. And, I have to make sure that we treat them well, because these are the folks that pave the way for us.
Of course.
Pay their dues in the community.
Mayor, for a young gentleman that's hearing this,
Yes.
maybe from high school, saying, man, I want to be just like the mayor, what advice or what steps would you recommend that they take to be in a position like that?
Well, first and foremost, I would tell them you never want to be like nobody. That's number one. We all are unique in our own ways. God created us for our own stuff. What I could do, some people can't do. We all have our own different play. Say, but however, someone who wants to be a generic successful in whatever you do, whatever the field may be, because politics is not something, like I said, I don't think it's something you want to do. You wake up one day, it should be a calling. Like I told you, I started my activism at high school, started saying stuff. So you could kind of tell it was kind of, in me, and I ran a couple times. My first time I ran was in 1999.
Wow.
And you could Google it. And I made history at that time. It was the first time in the US you had 3 Haitian-American running in one race.
Oh, wow.
We had just had the first Haitian-American mayor. You got to remember, we have a Haitian community when you talk about the entire diaspora. That's less than 30 years old in terms of mainstreaming and coming on the political scene, in terms of what we do. But I would tell them they have to be focused. They have to be organized. And they have to be disciplined. That's one thing that I've learned to my success. You have to kind of give up some stuff and stay focused in what you want to do. And a lot of time people will say no, but if you believe and you're willing to work hard, because I think if people see that you work hard, people will listen and there'll be a better outcome for you. So whatever that profession, you could apply these skills to it.
Mayor, you said you first ran in 99.
Yeah.
And along the way, I believe you said that you lost 4 times?
4 or 5. Yeah.
4 or 5? But
yes.
How do you pick up yourself after those losses to actually get back in the race and to get back on a horse?
I think that is one of the things that people saw. Mm-hmm. That I was very resilient and I didn't give up. And people will look into that, because if you really, really want to do something, now, obviously, I'm not saying you keep continuing. Yeah, you're not going to win.
Of course.
That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you believe deep down in your heart, you could do whatever the job might be. I was hearing a young lady who was saying she went to a pageant like 7 times. And the 8th time, that's when she won, the first step, whatever the cases. So those are the cases that I'm talking about. I knew that it was something destined, but people was telling me, you were too young. Mm-hmm. That was my biggest thing.
Yes.
It was like, you know what, you're too young. Remember the first time I ran, I was 22.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
wow.
I was running.
Wow.
I was young. So to do that and to go through that, it's a matter of staying focused again, which I mentioned, and being determined to accomplish something. One thing you have to understand, and I tell people this a lot in politics, you're always gonna get no. You cannot think that 100% of people like you.
Of course.
The best example, well, people think that they do, and not everybody knows you. That's number one. Half of the city probably don't know me,
right?
Because they're not engaged that way in terms of, because that's how it is. Because you talk about a city of almost 80 or 90,000 people, although officially they say we're 60 something, which
right on paper.
Yeah. So it's a challenge, but it's also some opportunities as well.
Mayor, you are holding the highest elected position in the city. And a lot of people, when things go wrong, they always find the person to blame, and they always, at times, they will blame you for everything. So what are some of the challenges while you're in that seat? What are some of the challenges that you face on a day-to-day?
Oh, wow. Day-to-day is crazy because, we still are people.
Right.
And I don't think people kind of get that. They say, how do you do it? I don't know. God just kind of, you go and you pray and you start your day and things just started coming in terms of doing what needs to be done. But it's hard. And I can't say it's easy because there's some sacrifice that you make. You sacrifice your family, your friends, everything because of what you signed up for. But keep in mind, I signed up to do this, to serve the public. And I want to do a good way of serving the public. So there's a lot that comes with the territory of doing what needs to be done. But I'm also mindful of the community that I served. In terms of, I know the people. I've been here like for over 30 years. So obviously you got to know the ground. And everything else come with the territory, but you got to stay focused and I guess determined will be the next keyword.
Man, that's amazing. What was your support system like when you were running for the first time at 22?
Ironically, I had good support.
Okay.
But it was divided. Remember, I was young. And I was one of the opponent that I ran. The guy was like my father. So, I had to learn certain things, how not to attack, how to communicate with voters. And the rejection that I got, I was always, each time I ran, it's so funny. I lost like by a couple hundred. Like, oh, okay. And then, and then they'll tell you, oh, I know you could do a good job. I know you'll be better than this. I know, they'll give you all the, but. So the but kind of, I'm like, what do you mean but? What you say I'm good, so why? So it takes a lot though. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is once the voters know you, they familiarize themselves with you, then it's a different case. Because they believed you. And when I won, I was young. I was probably one of the youngest to get on the council. I think there's others that probably came after me. Cassandra, Timothy just came after me. But I was the youngest, and that kind of had a reflection nationally. So people in New York, the other Haitian-American elected officials. So I had a duty to make sure that if I wanted to have other people to look at Haitian-American, young Haitian-American in a different way, at least in the political landscape, I had to do good. I had to, first of all, I did a great job when I was city clerk, 2009. And that kind of led, okay. Although it wasn't a legislative job, being the clerk, but it kind of set the foundation. I was in public office. People saw how I handle myself, and they kind of gravitate to that. When I did, and that was citywide. So I had experience running citywide. It's only two positions that's citywide, the clerk and the mayor. And then everybody else is single member district. So when I did go, in 1999, 2000, it was a different district. I was in District 3. I ran in District 3. And then after I lost, I moved to District 4, still in the city, but in a different cross line. So I had to build my base there because I had a little bit of base in District 3, but I was running in District 4. So I had to build my base there. But the good thing, people did remember, oh yeah, I voted for you, when you was clerk in 2015. I was getting that. Oh, I voted for you so many times, Alex. So we know you.
Right.
Good or bad, but it kind of worked out eventually. Yeah.
Mayor, to switch to a little bit more sensitive conversation, we are looking at the political climate that's going in our country and also some of the news that we're hearing around the whole TPS status. Some people believe that the solution to that entire situation is for the administration to create a pathway to citizenship, where they believe.
Who believe that?
They believe that's one of to create a pathway to citizenship, or to create a lot of people who have temporary status to get their green card. What do you think is a solution in your honest opinion?
Okay, first of all, anybody who would say that, utter those words to you, see what's happening in the administration, they totally
right.
I could say they totally, upside down. No. First of all, the administration, and I'm talking about the executive branch, the president can't create any solution in terms of what's happening. The Congress can. And we know Congress not. Just knowing the makeup of what's happening, you do need comprehensive immigration. That's the only thing that would resolve what's happening right now. Full stop. And in order for you to have comprehensive immigration, you will need the legislative branch to do their part and send a bill. Well, they could do all their part. And you know how crazy it is to pass the House and then go through the Senate. Let's just say we got that. a miracle, miracles could happen. We get that. Then you still have another hurdle. The president will have to sign that bill into law.
Of course.
So yeah, I don't think the whole scene, what's the rhetoric and what's happening, I don't think nobody in their right mind would think that will happen like this. The president does have and is the only person that has the right to grant or extend TPS.
Okay.
Congress can't do that. So we really in a jumble, in a bad situation. The hope would have been there would be so much sincere to what's happening, to the cause, but that obviously, that's a whole different ball game. So it's really, really, we just have to pray and maybe perhaps Congress may come out of, I don't know where, especially you're going into the midterm. So everything now is blue and red. It's Democrat, Republican. It's like, this is crazy. So
Right.
That's not good.
Haiti got qualified for the World Cup 2026.
Exciting.
What does that mean for our culture?
Well, I mean, I think we've done it twice. It's resilience and to show despite everything. I've always said God has something special for us because we've gone through so much as a people, as a community. This is a little good piece of light that we get that really, really feels better.
Yes.
That kind of would certainly, we know we're going to deal with the effect. I'm already getting calls from my office in terms of folks trying to come, where the games is being played, and especially now with the ice thing, it's a lot going on. But we are excited.
Right.
We are joyful, and we hope the best.
Of course.
Mayor, you've been in the city for over 30 years, right? What's one place that you would recommend anybody that comes to North Miami to visit?
One place in terms of attraction or restaurants, or there's different?
Both.
Okay. We have a hidden gem in North Miami. I don't think people know about too much. It's just beautiful, just the whole nature of it. And I worked there when I was a young man. Enchanted Forest.
Yes.
Enchanted Forest is one, you could walk there. They have a horseback riding. It's just a beautiful, the way it's hidden from 135th Street, right before you get to Biscayne. It's just nature and the trees, and you could just actually do a whole nature walk. They have a nature trail. So it's really one of those places that, and it's very, very nice. Restaurant, I'm not going to get in trouble. There's so many good ones. We have all of the best Haitian restaurants in North Miami. That's a fact. There's none more in Little Haiti.
Of course.
And Massimo just came in.
Yes.
And then, we getting because our population of Latinos is increasing, so we're getting a lot of good flavors.
Of course.
There's a lot of good flavored restaurants on Biscayne, but the tradition, Little Havana, is an icon in our community. And
of course.
Eat a good meal there. You don't need the prices are very reasonable. The best Italian is Casamia, hands down. Yeah, you can't go anywhere. I was in DC, they were talking about Casamia.
Oh, wow.
There's a couple of good ones that's in North Miami, but those are, the Haitians are just too many. From 7th Avenue, Solange, Chef Lubege, you just name it, Chef Creole.
Of course.
Have 2 locations here. It's just on top of, and then soul food. We're also now becoming known for a couple of good spots for it. So well, at least I know 3 in North Miami, which is good. You won't go hungry.
Mayor, we just celebrated also the 50-year parade as far as for the Thanksgiving parade. I saw the turnout was very successful. What does the parade mean for our city and to keep that going for the next generation?
Well, we are one of the only city in South Florida who does a Thanksgiving Day parade. So that brings a lot of immense pride to us as a city, but also an opportunity for us to showcase us. And we've done it over the past 50 years, so it's a tradition.
Yes.
So I kind of kicked it up and kind of put a little my spice into it a little bit.
Right.
With the carnival.
I saw that.
Each event. But I started that maybe 4 years ago, and it kind of worked out. People loved it in terms of doing so. But it's a tradition. It's something, the opening of Christmas, that we do. And it's really something that we invite other people in South Florida to come down and enjoy it and do what needs to be done in North Miami.
Mayor, on a more personal side, you're a very busy person. What do you personally enjoy doing?
You would not believe this. Believe it or not, to calm me down to do everything, cook.
Really?
Cook.
Yeah, and give it away. I love to cook. In fact, I'm supposed to start something with cooking with the mayor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so cooking is one of my go-to. Food has always been my go-to. But no, cooking and it was from a young kid from Haiti. To when I was 6 or 7, because I came to the U.S. at 7. I started learning, and then kind of expand from there. From Asian, Italian, but obviously Caribbean and Haitian being the number one thing that I would say I do good.
What's your go-to dish, Mayor?
It's everything and anything, but of course fish. Poisson goutte,
of course,
good snapper is always good. It's easy and quick in terms of that. But rice, man, if I go a couple of days without rice, no, that's my. Even in the city when they do an event, they say, "Oh, we got to get the rice.
Yes,
we got to make sure." So yeah, the rice, and it's a foundation of our culture.
My last question for you, Mayor: did you at any point growing up believe that you would be where you're at today? Did you envision this?
No. No. I knew I wanted to, even a couple of years ago, I didn't envision being mayor because I didn't, if or been following my story, I was a councilman. Yes. And then, my previous, the previous mayor was running for another spot, and then the position came available. They appointed me, and then I ran successfully, a landslide, and then I have one more term in this November. No, I don't think, at least for me, I didn't go in thinking that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, it was just one step at a time and let God kind of guide you. And people now already asking you, oh, what you going to do next? Well, I don't know. Whatever God would put in my heart or would guide me to do, that's what I want to do. But I think whatever I do, it's going to come in terms of serving people. It may not be, I don't know where and I don't mind, because there's a lot of stuff that happened in the back thing of government also, working in the back. That's what really make things happen. Mm-hmm. You need a good staff, a good administration to run things and make things happen.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Last remark. What message would you like to leave to the city of North Miami and those who are watching who would like to come and embrace the city of North Miami?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you, the Jules family, the legacy to do this. And especially, it's always good to, converse with another pioneer. Pioneer for life. So
life.
Yeah, we know that. And, we now trying to get our things up. I wouldn't say, there's some more alumni that does it better, but we're getting there as a city. But for anyone who haven't been to North Miami, we are an amazing city. We are a bedrock of different cultures. The food is amazing. We are a beautiful city that you could learn about our history and look forward for the future. And a lot of smart growth that's happening around our city. We just had open Solemia, the biggest, one of the biggest hospital now with partner with beautiful projects. And we got those projects throughout not that magnitude, but throughout the city, we got big projects going on. So I'll tell people, we have a phrase that we do in North Miami is get to know me, which is, So I would tell people that get to know me, which is know me is North Miami.
Of course.
And but people don't know that. So get to know me.
Right. Yeah. Mayor, I want to thank you for stopping by today for a conversation with us.
Yes.
This is your home. Whenever you're in town, you want to stop by for a conversation, please.
You trying to get me in this building. Oh, in the building. Okay. Yeah,
so whenever you get a chance to stop by.
Okay, I got it. You ain't gonna start nothing. Okay. Yeah, but definitely thank you again and keep up doing the good work, shining and uplifting pioneers.
Of course.
It's good.
Thank you, Mayor. And at this time, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for supporting and watching. It was an amazing time to get to learn from the mayor and his accomplishments. We'd like to also thank all of our sponsors, AZ Formal Wear, Chick-fil-A of Miami Shores, Gourmet Gatherings by Chef Princess E, and Comprehensive Health Center. And we could not do this without you. So we'd like to thank you, the viewers and listeners. And remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Till next time.